Things are getting busy. Let me just actually post on the page real quick. Tanya, did you survive your drive? What time did you get back?
Oh, I got back at like 12:30. We left at 7, so it's only like 5.5 hours. We stopped one time, but they like cried the last hour. And it was the worst because traffic was like not great. It's always fine like leaving Philly, but like coming back in is like I just forget. It's not. I don't normally do it. Matthew usually drives, so. But that's okay. They were good. It's just like when one of them wants a snack or they need like they can't like figure something out on the iPad and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't reach around and get it from you.
Or they drop something.
Yeah. I'm like, mommy is in a lot of traffic and I can't do that. My job is to keep you safe. And of course they don't understand that. So,
That's funny.
Yeah. It's okay though.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started so that we can end here at a decent hour because we got some early morning warriors. I joined you all early this morning, trying to get back into my routine too in the morning. I don't know. I just have realized that I feel so much better when I get started in the morning, and I'm not a night owl at all. And so I can't say my mind is more fresh to even do my business work or my workout or my personal development, all of that first thing in the morning. So I want to get to bed as well. But tonight we're gonna talk about leaning into the struggle and kind of looking at the different struggles that we're all going through as coaches, but then also challengers. I think that's been a big theme over in our challenge group lately. But first, before we dive in, and hopefully we'll have some more people join us here in the next couple minutes, I kind of just wanted to give like a recap of what's to come in August and then kind of some September highlights. So right now we have Leah, you have the free nutrition group running that started today, right? I know Leah's got some people in there. Tanya, that's awesome. I also was doing a 3-day refresh group this week. However, most people have not purchased their pack, or they did purchase their pack. I got some last minute on Friday or Saturday. So I envision that group honestly being open through the weekend and then early next week too. So if anybody has anybody that they want to invite or even, throw up a last minute story about it tonight or tomorrow, it's just kind of the way it happened. I had people reach out to me on Friday and Saturday of this last week, and I wasn't going to tell them no. That 3-day refresh group is always open. I use the same group. I don't delete the post. I just go in there and make sure that I support them when they're doing that. And yes, they are on sale. So the way I handle kind of my 3-day refresh sales is I talk about it probably every other week, simply because that group's always running. And every time I talk about it, I at least get 2 or 3 people. And I don't do it every time, but it's not a lot of extra work for me to be able to support them and put them in that group. So just so you know, I have 4 people doing it. I started a message thread with just them, and they're kind of talking in there now about when they may do it. So some have said Thursday, but I might not have some coming until Saturday. So if you want to jump on board with that, let me know. We do have a coach sneak peek on the calendar for this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And what I was going to do is I was going to follow, if you watched Rachel Baldwin's National Wake Up Call, she talked about how she did a group and she went in live in there twice a week or twice a day for 2 days. And then that third day was her enrollment day, where she got everybody just really excited to get started. I truthfully have not started inviting that to that. If anybody has anybody who's interested in the coach opportunity and they want to throw people in that, I am happy to do that. The reason I haven't really started talking about it is last week or late last week, Courtney had asked me if I would be interested in doing a sneak peek with her the following week. And so I'm going to let you guys know that this Thursday, we have a planning call for that. It's going to be either, and you can write this down, it's going to be a coach sneak peek either Monday the 19th or the 20th of this month. And the reason we're having a planning call for it this Thursday is we've been talking really a lot about how to get our coaches started right. The last National Wake Up Call with Rob Pearson talked about how he puts his new coaches into a challenge group for themselves and talks about how they need to be the ultimate challenger and get those amazing results so that they can share. But it's a challenge group for his coaches, not just fitness, but also business. And so we're going to be talking about how we can roll that out starting on Labor Day, or we'll officially start like the Tuesday after Labor Day. So I will give more information on that over on our team page, but it really is an effort to help new coaches get started right. We have the new coach training in our page. We have getting started right calls. However, is there a way that we can really walk them through the process and simplify it for them while teaching them, how to engage in a challenge group? Because I think a lot of that has gone by the wayside too. So I will be planning that with her, and that will be the following week. But if anybody has anybody who's even interested in the coach opportunity, I'm more than happy to put together a group for this week. The way I've been inviting to coaching lately is I've been telling them that I have a group coming up later in the month. I haven't told them like an exact date. I say later in the month, where in that group, that coach sneak peek, I'm going to share with you some new ways that I'm going to help coaches get started right. So I'm kind of highlighting, without saying, what we're exactly doing yet. I'm saying, I've been talking with other mentors on my team, and we realize that we need to help our coaches get started in the best way possible. And so for that reason, in this coach sneak peek, we're going to talk about that as well. So after we plan on Friday, I'll go live in our team page to talk more about the details on that. We have a call next Monday with Dana Havlick and one of her PS coaches who just went diamond. I think her name is Casey. They're going to come to us and share how they build community on their team and how together as a team they really help people get results. Her crew is known for their amazing challenge groups and just the sense of community that they have within their coaches, and they really just work so well together. So I'm excited to hear from her, because I feel like for those who were on the Rock Solid call a couple of weeks ago, or I don't know, it could have even been 2 months ago now, Dana really talked about her invite process and the way that she connects, and she does so very genuinely. She doesn't do anything to just check boxes off. So she doesn't send an invite unless she has fully connected to that person. She never cold messages, invites anybody. And I know that got a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people. And so watching her grow her team, not maybe sending, 25 invites a day, 30 invites a day, has been really awesome. And I think it's proof that if you continue to just do the vital behaviors consistently every day, you're going to grow your business. So I'm excited to hear from her on that. And then we technically have another 30-day group focus starting again on the 19th. Again, using the same groups, but just kind of always refreshing that. So I'll be reaching out to see if any leaders want to kind of go on that. I'm kind of up in the air still about what I'm going to do with my group. I had shared on a previous call that my challengers had wanted a separate, smaller group. And so I opened this separate, smaller group, and there's really only like 4 of them posting. So I'm like, well, y'all said you weren't posting because you felt like it wasn't personal. And now nobody's posting. And the same 4 that are posting in the other group as well. So we'll see kind of what that goes through. But it has helped to hold me accountable. So those are just some things that are coming up. I do have on my to-do list this week to plan the September calendar. I'm definitely myself going to look into doing some type of free group. I'm thinking about that Morning Warrior Mindset Makeover group we've done in the past, which for those of you who may be newer, it was just simply how to get a morning routine. It was exercise, so giving them the bod trial. It was a personal development video clip, and just committing to a morning routine. And I'm thinking because of Morning Meltdown 100, that could be a really great free group. I also like the sugar group, the sugar detox group is always a great one. So really looking for that in September to help me build my funnel. Because anytime I feel like my connections are low, or like I don't have a lot of people to invite, I always go back to free groups. And I haven't done one of those. That wasn't just the bod group. I haven't done any other type of free group in a while. So I'm going to try to do that as well. If you guys have any suggestions for things that you would like to see in September that you want on the official calendar outside of what you may want to do on your own, please feel free to send them my way or post on the team page, because I love to have as much input as possible. We should have the 19th. Oh, good. Awesome. Perfect. That's good, Tanya. That gives us one more week for that. So thank you. I will move that down. So we, in the Rise Up Project, we officially do have one more week of posting in there. So we will focus on the 26th being that like fresh new start. So I will get with that. All right, awesome. So leaning into today's topic for today's call, I think, it's no secret that this transition has been, to work from home mom has been extremely hard for me. I started to share it a little bit more, and the struggle really was how hard it actually was. Not that I didn't think it would be, but how hard it was. I always, within a big transition, that's when my anxiety tends to spike. I know that. I was prepared for that, or in my mind, I was prepared for it. And then as I was having these feelings of this is harder than I thought, and my, anxiety is coming up, I started to feel guilty. Like, this is what I prayed for. This is what I dreamed about. And now, I'm struggling. And again, because my guilt spiked, then my anxiety rose even more. And then it was just this cycle. And I believe that sharing, there's been different times in this business where I've struggled with X, Y, and Z, and, from the get-go. And I think sometimes, it's easy to look at somebody who's been in the business 4 years and things seem to be going pretty well, she's just crossing things off her vision board, a huge goal. It's really easy to think that there hasn't been struggle. And there has been struggle the entire time, struggles that I don't even talk about. But when I do talk about them, I talk about them because, number one, it helps me heal. And number two, I believe in that power of me too. It might not get as many likes and comments, but the messages that I get in, because it's not about the likes and comments, the messages that women will send me personally behind the scenes saying like, I felt that way too. It gives me chills to think about, because that's when it's so powerful. And working together has been something that has helped me lean into the struggle and overcome those, knowing that I'm not alone. And I think in our challenge groups, a lot of us tend to be struggling, not just our challengers, but coaches. And a lot of times I think we're afraid to admit it. We're ashamed to admit it. We think everything is perfect. We see the Instagram, we see the Facebook highlight reel, like, y'all see me laughing and joking with Dan. You don't see me yelling at him because he peed on the floor. You don't see me yelling at him because, it was just something, I brought down the wrong watch this morning. It's those things that nobody sees, but we all feel like we are kind of on this island by ourselves sometimes, and that we can't talk about it. And when I reached out to, a couple of leaders on the team saying like, okay, what can we talk about on tonight's team call? It was really that sense of struggle, that we're all struggling in different ways, but that none of us are alone. And I think we all agree that the sense of community on this team is what is so, so incredible. But I do feel like sometimes we get like 4 weeks into the struggle before we'll even say anything. Like we just kind of keep it to ourselves. And maybe that's our personality. I know for me that is, until I kind of get to this point where I can't any longer. But if we own that struggle and we embrace it and we continue to work through it every day, we can show our challengers what is really possible and letting them know that we are there for them. And so we're going to talk about a couple different ways that some people on our team specifically are really leaning into that struggle. So we're going to start with Lindsay tonight, who I'm just going to mute myself, Lindsay, and I'm just going to kind of give you the mic, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. When we were talking about what call we were going to do this week, I actually mentioned like how much I've been struggling, not with my workouts, because that's actually what's kept me on a straight, narrow path, but like in my family life and my personal life, just finances, a lot of things have been happening. My dogs attacked each other, then attacked my husband, and it like basically is just like, one thing happens, then another thing happens, then another thing happens. And I find myself that, before working out, I would just eat all this crap, like, oh my God, I need brownies. Oh my God, I need this. Oh my God, I need that. And I had no other outlet. But I have my working out, which is amazing. That's helped relieve so much stress. But working out only relieves so much stress, or, reaching out to people only relieves so much. I think you have to get inside, right? And that's, using personal development, and not just like books like You Are a Badass, which is an amazing book. But, I've been reading that and I really enjoy that book. But I usually, I pray a lot now, like a lot. And that's just personally what I do. You guys can do something different. I listen to a lot of music, and sometimes I just need to listen to Christmas music, because that just puts me in the best mood ever. And I have been listening to Michael Bublé Christmas like nonstop, even when I'm working out, because that just puts me in a good mood. And instead of like just wallowing in my sorrow of the things that are happening to me, I don't continue to let those things happen to me. I react differently. So when something bad happens, I say, you know what, I'm just going to go work out. Something bad happens, I'm going to go listen to music. I'm going to go pray about this. I'm going to, I have a verse every day from like the Bible app or something like that pops up. And one day it like pertains so much to what was going on in my life. And you don't have to, go to church. You don't have to do any of that stuff, but like believing, and they talk about it in You Are a Badass too. Believing in something else, to put your faith into something else, even if it's putting your faith into, your business and 100% diving all into your business, or all into your family. Putting your faith in something else helps you, work on yourself and be like, you know what, I can get through this. It doesn't matter. People are going through worse things in this world. And just reading and listening to podcasts that just make you happy, watching Friends for the 100th time over and over again, like that's the stuff that makes me happy. That is my personal development for when I'm struggling. And it doesn't have to be reading a book. It doesn't have to be listening to a podcast. It's whatever you make it. And as long as it's, digging me out of that hole that I can, find myself getting deeper and deeper. And no matter what I do, it just, you can't, life happens. And I've been seeing a lot of people recently posting and in the group saying, I fell off. This is my day one again. I fell off with nutrition. I need help. And those are cries for help. And we don't know where they are in their life. But the one thing I can say is that, I had a cry for help. I put on Instagram that my dog ripped his staples out after a week of trying to keep him from touching them. And he just ruined it all again. So then we had to go through a whole nother process, a whole bunch of money. It was becoming so much for me to take. And then Krista posted about me needing like extra prayers, extra hugs, and so many people, even people I don't even talk to on a daily basis, like, we're just reaching out, and that made me so happy. And I had my best friends reaching out to me that I hadn't even told what was going on, and my family that I didn't even tell what was going on. I was just holding it all inside of me. So, I know we talk about PD as books and blah, 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 but I think our group is a form of personal development, because it is so important to be able to post on there and feel that positive energy. Even if someone else is going through something, they can relate to you, and they can maybe help you in a different way than you think that you can help yourself, or, vice versa. And when I see other people struggling, I 100% want to reach out to them and be like, hey, I can help you with whatever. I've been there. I'm going through something similar. Same thing. So I think personal development is just, it's whatever you need it to be, but it is so important. And talking to my husband helps, but sometimes you just don't want to talk to him about everything because he's just as much woe as me. So, but that's really all I have to say about that. That's why I've been quiet. I've been trying to get myself together, because you can't help these challengers. You can't help your family. You can't help anybody until you help yourself, and until you're on this path to continue working on yourself, and know that it is a journey. It is not a final destination thing. Just because someone's in better shape than you, that doesn't mean that their journey has ended. It's continuing, and always growing and learning from the things that are going on in life. So just, that's pretty much it.
I love that. And I like that you said, just because, somebody's in good shape doesn't mean that they're not struggling mentally. And there's definitely been times, and still are times, that I know that I'm struggling with like this thing that's got umbrella over my head. And I always actually think like, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And I need to take care of that before I kind of go to the next level. Like, you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now, before you tackle that hurdle. So next up, Leah's going to kind of talk about how she's been leaning in and finding her joy in the struggle too.
All right, so Lindsay and Krista both kind of already touched on everything I was going to say. I guess same thing. I've been noticing everyone's kind of in this transition phase, whether it's, the back to school stress. I know like Tanya with the back to school, like jitters and getting everything ready, and Lindsay, everything with her dogs, and Krista in this new, completely new stage of her life. Everyone's struggling right now. And a lot of our challengers, like Lindsay said, in our group are struggling, whether it be with nutrition or jobs or whatever it may be. So I recently I've had probably like a really tough, like 3 to 4 months, I would say. And I'm pretty open about it. I posted like everything with my back injury, everything with my grandpa, stuff like that. But so 3 weeks ago we had probably about 3 weeks ago, something major happened with our family, and it was really, really hard. It was really, really hard. It's still to this day is very hard for me. But I had 2 choices, basically. I could sit there and like let it completely overpower me and succumb to emotional eating, because I'm a huge emotional eater. I could give up. I could totally give up. I could have thrown in the towel and just given up. And my other option was to rise up, and that's what I chose. I reached out to my coach, which is Krista, and believe it or not, she could relate to me on a whole different level than other people could. I went back to a conversation that Lindsay and I had in May when I reached out to her, having a really tough time. And I reread through what her and I talked about, and, really sat down and thought about, why did I do this? What was my reasoning for becoming a coach? What in this business still brings me joy? What makes me happy about doing this? Because I need to find joy somewhere in my life, because I have so many other things going on right now that I need a little something somewhere to just make myself happy again. And then I reached out to Tanya and was like, hey, want to run this crazy free group that I have? And she was like, yes, like, not that I have anything going on. I'm traveling home. I'm starting to get ready for school. I'm like, I have nothing else to do. Why not join this free group with you? Sure. Point being, like, you can reach out to anyone on this team, whether it be coaches, whether it be challengers, whether it be your success partner, whether it be a random person, even if it's a challenger. I met, she was just on this call, she hopped off, Sarah, she's one of my challengers. She's a coach on my team. And we met last weekend to go over some business stuff, and it turned into like a Leah venting session out of nowhere. And like, to think that like I'm supposed to be her coach, and like she's relating to me and helping me through like a terrible, terrible time in my life, which was like, kind of like took me totally by surprise. Not somebody that I would have thought to to lean into, and I was able to lean into her, which was awesome. But I guess my point being is just that, like, my challengers bring me joy. So right now I might not be able to do all the things. I might not be able to check every box. I might not be able to send out 30 invites in a week. I might not be able to do those things. But my job, my reason for doing this is the people that I've already served, the people who are following me, who are looking to me to be their leader. And those are the people that I want to help. Those are the people that I want to help them meet their goals, because that's what makes me happy. When I get messages like, I'm down 7 pounds in 1 week, I'm like, hell yeah, like, so excited. So, and, you know, and that's the great thing about this program. Anywhere else, any other health or nutrition or weight loss or whatever it may be, they don't have this community. That's one thing that we have that nobody else has. Weight Watchers doesn't have it. Going to the gym and seeing a trainer doesn't have it. Like, we have something so powerful, this community, where we can lean into each other and into people who you never would have thought you could lean into. So I guess that's kind of like my point, is to help those who you see are struggling, but to also reach out when you're struggling. You're showing your challengers, you're showing your coaches that you're human too. You're struggling too. You're in the trenches with them, and you guys will overcome this together. So that's all.
You know, as you're saying that, I was thinking, like, we really do have this special opportunity as coaches to be able to lean in together and work through the struggle together. And, you know, your idea of the free group is because that's what brings you joy. Like, that's so awesome. And I think so many times whenever you're going through something, so many other people are going through it too. Like, you know, if you're in the Rise and Shine Diamond group, we have this week I'm hosting 6 a.m. mastermind calls. Why? Because, like, I was struggling in the morning. I was reverting back to when I had postpartum depression and would stay in bed until the last possible minute and would wake up feeling like I was already behind, would feel so anxious. Like, I had this cloud of dread over myself first thing in the morning, like instantly. As soon as my eyes opened, I would feel dreadful. And it wasn't until I got up and got moving that I would be able to work through that. And so leaning in and saying, hey guys, I'll host these 6 a.m. meetings, like, was helping me work through my struggle by helping other people. And so if you can think of what, you know, like, I'm just processing this while we're talking, like how I said next month I might do like a Morning Warrior Mindset Makeover group. Like, I can talk to people about anxiety, because a lot of people feel anxiety right first thing in the morning. And maybe that's who I'm going to not target, but target for lack of better words, but invite those people who, hey, do you really struggle getting out of bed in the morning because you feel like this? Let me help you, because I'm going through it too. I think that's super powerful, because we have this opportunity as coaches to own our struggle and to lean in and do that. Think about how you could then in turn use it to help people. Even Lindsay, like you were saying, like the different things that you do to relieve those feelings and to take care of yourself, that PD isn't necessarily a book. That would be amazing. Most people probably don't even think about it that way, what the different things that they could do and share in that group. All right, so real quick, I'm going to do a screen share here. And I'm getting messages popping up here. Where is it? Okay. This is, let me close these out. This is a video. Can everybody see the video on my screen right here? Okay. So this is a video. Some of you, if you are in the Rise and Shine group, have seen this video. Others have not, but I think it's really important to talk about, because so many times I think that, again, when we are in the struggle, we think that nobody else is in the struggle. We feel like that we are alone. We feel that we're isolated. We get down on ourselves, wondering why we're not, you know, this far along on chapter 20 when we're only at chapter 1, right? We compare our chapter 1 to somebody's, you know, chapter 50. And I think this really reminds us that we are exactly where we're supposed to be right now. There's a purpose in our pain, and we can use our mess as a message. And I can't get enough of watching it. It's just super powerful. So I'm going to push play. If you all can hear it, can you give me a thumbs up? And if you need it louder, let me know that too.
Most offensive thing to me that you can say to a person of color in the United States of America, she asked me, were you born in this country? And I was immediately offended. I put my hands on my hips and I said, Yeah, I was born in this country. She then goes on to ask me, how old are you? I said, 19 years old. She says, are you married? I said, no, ma'am. She says, do you have any kids? I said, no, ma'am. May I help you find something? She then goes on to tell me something that changed my life forever. She says, you look like you could be the next Miss USA. And I laughed at this woman hysterically. I said, lady, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going into my sophomore year at Virginia State. I'm about to commission in 3 years, go on active duty, be a military officer. Somehow, this crazy woman convinced me to meet her at Starbucks the very next day. She brought this foot-tall stack of pageant books, and she goes on to convince me to compete in my very first pageant. I compete in my first pageant 3 months later, and I lose. I go back the second year, compete in my state pageant, and I lose. I go back the third year, compete in my state pageant, and I lose. Go back the fourth year, compete in my state pageant, and lose. Go back the fifth year, compete in my state pageant, and lose. But guess what happens the sixth year? I lose. I called her on the phone 6 years after our Target conversation, and I said, you told me I could be the next Miss USA. And she says, Deshauna, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. In June of 2015, this amazing, kind of cuckoo woman passes away from leukemia. In December 2015, I win Miss District of Columbia, USA. In June 2016, I'm crowned the first soldier to win Miss USA. And last January, in Manila, Philippines, I walked to the Miss Universe stage and placed top 9 amongst 86 countries. Do not fear failure, but please be terrified of regret. When you walk out this door into the real world, you will receive a lot of shut doors, a lot of turned down applications. You will hear way more no's than you hear yeses. Giving up is something I did a lot of growing up, and I don't think I really challenged myself to stick anything through until I joined the track team in middle school. I remember having to ask my mom after tryouts and making it to the team for my very first pair of track shoes. Now, at the time, she walks into our house and she has a bag that has a nice Nike check sign on it. So I get excited because I wasn't getting new shoes very often. I go to take the shoe box out the bag and I notice that it says a size 9 on it. Mind you, in the 7th grade, I was a size 5. I open the box and I slide my feet into the shoe and I look at my mother and I said, these shoes are too big. She says, I know I did that on purpose. I was like, why would you buy shoes that are too big on purpose, Mom? And she says, because I know that you're going to grow into them. Coach has us line up on the starting line, and he wants us to run a lap around the track. As we go to take off, I immediately fall to the ground, twist my ankle, because the shoes are entirely too big. See, I couldn't run at the speed that I wanted to because I didn't fit the shoes I was wearing at the time. Now, many of us have goals we're trying to achieve, but the person we are right now is not the person that we need to be when we cross the finish line to our dreams. So we must walk and pace ourselves on this journey to our goals because we haven't grown enough in ourselves to fit the shoes that we need to achieve our aspirations. But let me tell you something. If I had won Miss USA my very first year, I would not have been Miss USA. I would not have been the version of myself that I needed to be to properly handle a national title. Many of us aren't ready to walk the race. But understand that as we walk this race, we pace ourselves. And as we pace ourselves, we grow. And as we grow, our foot gets bigger. And as our foot gets bigger, our shoes begin to fill. And as our shoes begin to fill, we can now run a little bit faster. And as we pick up the pace, we get to the finish line at the exact time we are destined to cross it. Do not fear the word no, but be afraid of the possibility of a yes that you have prematurely destroyed because you decided to quit before the clock strikes 12. There are a lot of questions that is going to keep you up at night, but I guarantee
Right. So I've watched that video a couple times since it was shared with me and then posted in that group. And I think it just kind of goes, goes along with everything we've been talking about. And if you can remember, that you've got to run your own race and remember that you're growing into it. You're going through so much, but you're growing through that as well. And you're exactly where you need to be. And if you were over here, you may not be ready yet for that. You've got to work on that mindset and continue to grow. So we're going to end tonight with Tanya, who's going to do a little activity with us.
Okay, so we've done a lot of good chatting tonight. And the biggest thing is when we have these like really powerful chats is that you take action on something. Like you do something with the information you've been given tonight. And I don't know about you, but I've been very moved by everything that everyone has said. And so to just walk away from that tonight and do nothing with it would be a waste, to be like completely honest. And we're not about that. We're not about wasting these moments and these opportunities. And it took a lot of courage for people to get on this call and share what they had to share. It is, it might not be apparent to everyone, but I would say the last 2 weeks have been really hard for me. So in order to move past that, it's important to set a goal. It can be a small goal, it can be a big goal, it can be anything you want, but it has to be something that you want to work on this week. For example, maybe you have fallen off a little bit with your nutrition, and you know that in order to lead your team, to lead your challengers, to lead your coaches, that you need to be doing all the things that you're asking them to do. So maybe your goal for this week is to, get back on track with nutrition. Maybe you have fallen off the inviting wagon. And so this week you decide you're going to make sure that you invite 3 people a day, to join you in our groups. It can be a personal goal. It can be a mom goal. It can be a professional goal. I know for me, I don't work this business well if I personally am not well. And so I have done a lot of reflecting this summer because I have felt more content in life than I did all school year. And I know that the school year is coming quickly, and I can't go back to the person that I was last year. I was too stressed. I wasn't making time for my family. And none of that, I don't realize that until like I had, the past couple of months. And so my goal is to shut off at 8:30 each night, with the hopes of being in bed by 9 o'clock each night, because I do wake up pretty early. And I know that in order to be the best mom, to be the best teacher, to be the best wife, to be the best coach, to be the best challenger, I need that time. That's what I need to do in order to be good for everyone else. So my goal this week, and tonight and tomorrow don't count because we have team calls, but is to shut off my coaching at 8:30 at night, right? I'm done with that. From 8:30 to 9 o'clock, my goal is to take care of things I need to around the house. It could be packing lunches, it could be folding laundry, or it could just be sitting on the couch and having a conversation with my husband, which is something we do not get to do. I know that if I can get those things done within that half an hour before I go to bed, I'm going to feel better inside, which is going to make me want to do these things for coaching that I have not wanted to do the past couple weeks. So you each have 1 minute, and I want you to write it down, and then I want you to share it with your coach, because your coach is going to help hold you accountable this week. Your coach is going to be the one to check in with you and see how you are doing and offer suggestions. You have to share this with someone. You can't do it by yourself, right? I try too often to do things alone, and I don't do them. I don't do that. So I'm going to stop talking. I just want you to take 1 minute to jot down your goal. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to jot down mine, and then I will tell you to go to bed. Okay. If you're not done, that's okay. You can continue on, but I don't want to keep you any longer. The past couple weeks have made me realize that taking care of me first is so important. And that's what Beachbody tells you to do, and I don't listen to them all the time. So I am really going to take it to heart this time, because I know that I will get burnt out. I know I'm going to get burnt out this school year. You all know that by like November, I'm going to be losing my mind, okay? Probably will happen before that. But I'm really, really, I want to be able to do this, right? I want to be able to continue to be a good coach to my challengers. Like, I want to grow a business, but before I can do that, I need to be right inside and up here. And for me, that is getting rest. Like, I know that, and I need to do it, and I need to make it happen. And it is spending time with family. Like, I need to make that time. So be sure to tell your coach your goal, and or you can reach out to me. I don't care. I will help support anyone, like, on any goal that you want. And I hope that you all can hold me accountable to mine. So if you see me on here, like, after 8:30 on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you tell me to get up. Okay. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. On that note, we will end tonight's call. Let's get a picture and then a boomerang, and then we can all go to bed. I always like put the phone in front of my face. I don't know how to do it otherwise. All right, let me get the boomerang. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. I know that sometimes, like these more personal calls, we kind of get some fewer people on here, but I know I feel rejuvenated, and I'm going to post the link probably tomorrow morning. So encourage your coaches to take a look at it and hopefully feel refreshed as well. And thank you, Tanya. I love the idea of messaging somebody that goal, because it's when we hold each other accountable that things really happen. We don't have to do any of this alone. So Kelly, get your butt in bed, because I'll see you bright and early. All right. See you guys.